Hey folks, welcome back to another review with yours truly, Sam Healey. Today we're taking a look at this little fellow right here, the Era of Voyage Discovery. Now this is an engine building economic game where you're trying to score the most points by the end of the game. You want to gain income, you're going to be sailing around different islands, gaining income, making investments on different islands, and whoever has the most points at the end of all that is the winner. Let's get down to the table, I'll show you how it works, and we'll come back with some final thoughts in just a few moments. Let's hit it. So here I have set up for you a 4-player game of the Era of Voyage Discovery from Emperor S4 Games. And generally this is a engine building game where you are trying to score the most points. Now the game is going to end in a number of different ways. The first way that the game can end is if there are no more victory points tokens after gaining income on this cultural location. The second way that the game can end is that after making an investment, a person has no more investment markers at their disposal. And the third way that the game can end is by after someone has made an investment on one of the islands, all of the islands have 3 investments, which means that they can't have any more investments on it. At the end of that round, the game would end with all players having taken an equal number of turns. Then we would score how many points we were able to accumulate by buying these here, by having investments, either 4 or 2 here. Whoever has the most points at the end of the game is going to be the winner. On your turn, you have the ability to do 3 actions, one of which is mandatory, the other 2 are not mandatory. The first one is sailing, which is the mandatory action. And at the beginning of the game, you're simply going to take your ship here and move it to any island of your choice, but you have to point it in the direction you intend to travel on your next turn. So if I place my boat here, facing that direction, it means that I'm going to be traveling around the circle that way. But if I place it this direction, I'm going to be traveling that way. And that's a decision that you have to make during that first sailing action. Now, once I have made my sailing action, I've made my decision which way I'm going to go. I can choose to take income, which if you don't have any investments on the island, it's just the first marker here, which means I'd be able to take a gold token and add it to my tableau. Third is being able to make an investment. And what that means is that if I choose to, I can pay the resources that are up here in this bar, in this specific case, 2 spices and 2, I guess, peaches, oranges, something to that effect. And that would allow me to place one of my investment markers on that location. Now, the reason you want investment markers on the location is because the one who has the most is going to be able to get 4 points at this location. It changes from each location to the next. And the second most is going to be able to get 2 points. Well, the problem is that only 3 investment markers can be placed on any location. So if you are able to get 2 investment markers on a location, you've locked in the maximum number of points for that location. Once you have gone through those 3 things, sailing, income, and investment, that will be the end of your turn. Now on subsequent turns, you're able to move along this track either 1 or 2 spaces. You can go further if you'd like, but you have to pay an extra amount of gold denoted by this round order card here. So you can go 2 spaces for free. If you want to go 3 spaces, you have to pay 1 gold. 4 spaces, you have to pay 3 gold. And 5 spaces, you have to pay 6 gold or money, whatever it might be. So in this particular case, I'm going to go ahead and move just 2. Now, if you ever go to a place where a person is already present, you have to actually pay them 1 coin to denote a tariff or something to that effect. But you still do get to take the income of the location like so. Now at any point you can choose to go back to the main island like this, which is the only place that you're able to change the direction of in which your boat was sailing. So if you wanted to, you could change the direction. If you're going this way and you want to be going the other direction, you have to come here first, and then on your next action you'll be able to come back out to any of the islands that you want and choose again what direction you'll sail in. But if you ever do come back to the main island, you do get an income of $1. So then on green's next turn, they're going to come out here to this island, but they're going to choose to start sailing or continue sailing in the same direction. and they're going to get their income like so. Now on red's next turn, they're going to choose to come out here like this and start sailing in this direction. Now he's going to use the income ability, which means that he can buy or sell up to 2 of these resources for the amount listed. He will simply purchase a grape here for an amount of $3, and that goes there, and that is his turn. Back to green's next turn, they're going to go ahead and move 1, 2, and then they're going to use 2 oranges or peaches, whatever those things are, mangoes maybe, and a gold. So we'll return those to the respective supplies, and we're going to be able to put out one of our investment tokens here. But before that, I was able to grab a grape and a dollar. Now, one of the benefits of getting your investment markers onto these different islands is that now when you land there again, you're going to be able to take, for example, if I have 1 investment marker here now, I'll be able to take the first income and the second income. And then once I get a second one on there, I'll be able to take all 3 of them. So that's an investment incentive, I guess you could say, why you want to invest in these different islands so that you can have better income when you land there again. And that's generally how the game will continue to progress, with players taking turns sailing, gaining income, and investing until one of those 3 game-ending triggers that I mentioned before happens. Whoever has the most points at the end of that is the winner. So that's about it for the Era of Voyage Discovery. This is a compact and very efficient little game that has a lot of game packed into it, but not a whole lot of components to say much about. It probably has a feeling, I haven't played a whole lot of them, but it probably has the same kind of vibe as the tiny epic games that are out there. This one probably feels very similar to it because it takes this engine building game and provides it in a very small package. So there is that, I guess. That might be a pro or a con to you. I don't know. But let's get to my pros and cons, shall we? My first pro of the game is quite simply, as with most Emperor S4 games, it's very simple to teach, very easy to play. And I keep harping on that because I think that's important when you have new gamers coming in, or maybe it's just you want to take a break and you just want to play something that you know how to play and that is very simple to teach, maybe that one guy that hasn't played it yet. Those are the kinds of games that I think hit the table the most, are those kinds of games that are easy to teach, simple to play. But as also with most Emperor S4 games, even though they are easy to teach, easy to play, they have a lot of depth to them. So there's a lot of different choices that you'll have to make, and some of those choices can be very excruciating. For example, in this game, do I go to that place that already has 2 people there, meaning that I'm going to have to get $2 out of it, give $2 away, 1 to each? Is the income that I'm going to get from that, or is the investment that I'm going to be able to purchase while I'm there, is that going to balance out? Those are the kinds of questions that you're going to have to ask yourself while you're playing Discovery. So I like the fact that it's so easy, but there's a lot of depth in the game. Another pro for the game, in my opinion, is its brevity. I think the fact that they took what could have been, I guess, expounded upon and conflagrated into a very large hour and a half, 2-hour board game, they have condensed into a 45-minute to 60-minute game that you can play very quickly, very easily. So I like that. I think that there is also a good number of different avenues to victory that you can go for here. You can try to go for the investment strategy, where you try to get as many of the different investment points and maximize your points there as possible. Or you can go to the cultural islands and try to maximize your points there. So there's just a number of different ways that you can do that you can gain a lot of points in this game, and I like that because you can try something different every time you play, and that makes it a little fresh every single time. Another pro for the game is the fact that it does come with another set or more cards that you can use during the course of your plays. The setup that I showed you on the game table was just your basic setup that you use for your first few games. And then you can intersperse and change out all these different kinds of cards that they have in the game. You get the idea. You do have some versatility that's there as far as future plays of the game. You're going to be able to use these other buildings that will provide a slightly different feel for each game. So I like it when games do that. They allow you to change it up so it's not the same thing over and over and over again. Now, some of the cons here. First of all, the con, my first con is that the component quality isn't that great. It does have that feel, as I said earlier, of one of those tiny epic game type series games where you're getting a pretty big feeling game, but the components leave something to be desired, I guess you could say. And that's really the case here. The component quality isn't that great. You're just talking about a bunch of cardboard counters here and there, cardboard this, cardboard that. Now, I don't think that you have to have exquisite component quality in a game like this, but a little bit better would have been good. Another con for the game is that, well, simply the theme is just not really there. I guess, yeah, it is there in the artwork that's on the cards and the kinds of goods that you're trading and the coat of arms that you're using as investment markers and stuff like that, but really, that could have been anything, and you could have slapped any kind of theme onto this, and it probably still would have made some sense. So I like games when they are, I like games more, rather, when they have a theme that is as completely integrated into the mechanisms as possible. And some of the people that I played this with said, yeah, it was okay, but it wasn't fun. It was kind of boring. The theme didn't grab me or what have you. And when you have that, that kind of turns people off every once in a while. So all in all, that's that for the Era of Voyage Discovery. Got to get a little bit more of a pithier name, I think. That's a mouthful. But anyway, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because I did enjoy the game. I thought there were some things that they could have done better, but for what it is, I did enjoy it. And so a 6 out of 10 for the Era of Voyage Discovery from Emperor S4. Keep your eye open for it. Give it a try if you can before you buy. Not always possible, I know, but hey, if you can, go for it. That's it from me. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care now.